Well, how I made that was, for years, my grandfather, I told you, was in the union with Connolly. He always talked about him. And there was never, I never seen, my father used to say there's a bust of Connolly in the Bakers Union in timber, carved in timber. And he said, that's the only one I know of. We were talking one time about, he said, Connolly is not very well liked because he was a socialist. That's what the socialists were. So over the years I began to think, and I said, well, right. So in the 70s I decided, I was asked to go and make a head of James Connolly. I was asked by a group of people, fellas, came to me and said, Joe, would you ever make a head of Connolly? We've no head of Connolly. And I said, I'll make you a head of Connolly. So I went to the office of the place, and they said to me, they gave me a photograph, a poster like Connolly, print of a poster, I presume, with Connolly, in it. It was kind of greenish, that kind of greenish colour, right? Very good, very nice, So I took it home, and I took it home on the Wednesday, I think it was. And being anxious to do it, because I don't like doing heads, because I find that I don't do them right. Everyone says I do, but I don't feel, I don't really do commissions, unless someone says, do this, you do something for us. That's great. Then I know what I go into. But when someone says, we want this, we want that, we want to fall on a horse, or we want this, I'm not into that, right? So I took it home, and I went out to the workshop, and I worked very hard, as you may say. That means I worked very long on it. Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday even doing it, right? And I got it, and I said to my wife, Lord rest her, she was alive at the time, she said to me, that looks like him, that looks like him. It's not. I said, well, right out. So I brought it back on the Monday, actually. And I went to, and he said, oh, hold on, and a couple of fellas came up and looked at it. I said, oh, yeah, that's good, yeah. So then I went back on the Wednesday or Thursday in the afternoon to see a group, a couple of people, I think it was 3 or 4 there. And they said, oh, yeah. And one fella said, well, does it look like him? And I said, I think it looks like what you gave me, the picture, the poster. And one of them said, but the poster doesn't look like him either. I said, well, what did you give to me would look like the poster? Ah, well, we thought. I said, what do you mean you thought? That looks like him. But that looks like him on the poster. But yeah, he doesn't look like that you're saying. So I said, here. So I took it away, and I had it for years, the maquette made out of clay in the late 70s. I said, I'll get it done. So I went and spent the money and got it done myself. So I had a wooden base on it, right? I went to several unions, and I went to Labour Party, and I went to everybody you could think of that I thought would be interested. Everyone rejected it. So I said, well, right. So just recently I said to myself, I'll put a better base on it. With something I'll quote from him on the base, But nobody seems to want the man. A lot of talk about it, but nobody seems to want the man. Now, I haven't done a good job, as we call it, the Duke in the suit. Outside the thing, we all call it. He would laugh at that too, he would. Everyone would laugh at that. Everyone O'Doherty, He done a good job on that. He's done a very good job on that. Like Stuart Dunn, going to talk about this thing. Stuart Dunn done the girl that raised the flag, that little girl that raised the flag on the morning of the 16th. He done models of that, and nobody wants that either.
Molly O'Reilly.
Yes, and nobody wants that either. Nobody wants that little girl, right? He done that, the girl raised the flag, Molly O'Reilly. And he made a lovely piece of work out of that, and nobody wants it. I can't understand it. That quotation was given to me by one of Connolly's leaders in the reunion. And he told me one day, Mr. Kilbride, he was in the drovers section. He was over the drovers. He went and he was negotiating for a shilling. 12 pence is a shilling in them days, right? Which in them days was a lot of money. As such, it was a lot of money. So he said when he came back, he said to Connolly, they're after offering us a sixpence, that's half. And Connolly said, sixpence is better without a fight than a shilling with a fight. On strike, he does a week's wages. You know, which was worth more than a shilling. So you'd be losing a week's wage, but to make up that money, you'd never make it up, you know? So that's what he said, that's what the quote is.
6 pence is better than 12 pence with a fight.
Yeah. And I always, when I was involved in the site work and all that, I used to say that to the fellas, we're going on strike for what? I mean, we're involved in this, such and such, maybe less, you know? Not conditions, but for, you know, I say, we'll take that because we're going to lose. Going to lose a couple of hundred a week if we lose that, you know what I mean? For 12 shillings, at that time it would be 12 or 30 shillings, you know?
And can you tell me about the base itself, like how it came together? Was it the cast roundie that chose it, or did you?
No, I chose it. You choose. The artist always chooses the base. So I wanted a base on that. I wanted a solid base. I want a square Art Deco base. It's solid. He's solid. It's solid now. It's not a sloping base or anything like that. It's noble, that frame, that box there underneath it. It's noble. It's solid. It's not interfered with the piece of work on top of it. That's square. He's solid. Everything is solid. He's looking at you. My grandfather knew Connolly. My grandfather knew Connolly and Larkin. But he fancied Connolly better than Larkin. You know, he did fancy Connolly better than Larkin. Much better. And you see, my father said to me years ago when I was a kid, there's no head of James Connolly in the place. There was only one head of James Connolly. It was carved in wood in a place called the Bakers Union or something. One of them unions had a... They were the only ones that ever had at the beginning had a head of James Connolly. So I said, I'll make one out of bronze. So, was it Sinn Féin? One of them, I think it was Sinn Féin. You know the office off Temple Bar there, they had a book shop beside the...
Connolly Books.
Yeah. I was drinking in the Norseman one night, generally, and one of the fellas said to me, Joe, I think we made a head of James Connolly, would you do it for us? I said, yeah, I'll go and do it for you. So what I done was I went and seen them on the Wednesday or the Thursday, whatever it was, and they showed me pictures of them, what you see, you know, green pictures of them, paintings, drawings or prints. So I took 2 of them home and I worked the whole 5 days and I brought it back. The clay model, the model of it, you know. And this fella said, I like it. This fella said he didn't like it. This fella said he liked it. And this fella said, it doesn't look like him. And I said, does it not look like the painting? He said, yeah, but the painting doesn't look like him either. That's the truth. So I took it home. So that's the end of that. I took it home and I was going to leave, you know, and my wife said, why did you get it made up? I said, I haven't got the money. You know? It was a couple of thousand then it was. I've got the money. So she said, where you get the money? So, and it was good. Leo Higgins let me pay him on the drip. You know, because I knew him, another artist who owned the foundry.